Hi, Philip Movies here with an update on Movies Plus. Due to the resounding success of Movies Plus, I have recently been able to acquire the rights to all of the movies. Every single one. Every movie that ever has or will exist belongs to me, except for Toy Story. It scares me. And with all of these movies, I have decided to change the history of cinema forever by announcing the Movies Plus cinematic universe. That's right, every single movie that ever has or can exist is part of a shared universe. Isn't that fun? We here at Movies Plus, we have really big plans for where we're taking the M Plus CU. With the first phase of new movies, we're gonna have roughly 200 movies crossing all of the other pre-existing movies together so that you know how the universe works, because it's a very complicated universe. There's so many movies, there's like 500,000, I think, which means, yes, we do need to put like 2,500 films per movie into each movie, but we can do it. I can do it. I'm Philip Movies, CEO of Movies Plus. You think there's something I can't do? Look, I get it. It's a complex idea and it doesn't make a lot of sense, which is why the first movie in the first phase of the M Plus CU, it's just gonna be a simple crossover between 3 phenomenal movies. That's right. The first crossover is gonna be between Citizen Kane, the Playmobil movie, and Human Centipede. The next movie's gonna have 5,000 movies in it because the last one only had 3 in it. Are you confused? I am too a little bit. Like, we haven't written all of the movies from like phase 1, and so we don't fully know how everything connects. But like I'm working on a chart of how everything works, and it makes sense if you stare at it for long enough. Once you see the movies that we're gonna make, you're gonna be like, oh, of course, why didn't I think of all movies as existing like this? Anyways, I'm dumb. Once the first phase of the M Plus CU is finished, we're gonna then move on to the second phase, which is connecting all of the movies from phase 1 to each other. And that's just gonna be one 11-hour movie that ties up all the loose ends, and then like you really start to get the sense of how everything makes sense. Once we have finally connected all the movies together, and after phase 2, what comes next? It's phase 3, and that one's when things really start ramping up. Because, you know, you already know how everything connects, you understand the universe, then we can start playing with it a little. This one is mostly just going to be sequels to movies that already exist, you know, but maybe like we throw in, you know, some characters from other movies in there, or, you know, we do other stuff, and you're like, that makes sense, you know, it's just like a more enjoyable movie experience. One of the ones, we actually have this fully filmed already, but we can't release it until the first 2 phases release. It's Groundhog Day 2, Groundhog Second. Let's show like a sneak peek of that. I know what you're thinking, why is there a minion there? You gotta consider, once you see phases 1 and 2, you're gonna be like, oh, I get that. That adds so much to the movie that there's a minion in it. One question you might have is, hey, all these movies are in one big cinematic universe. Do I need to watch all of the movies ever made to understand any new movie that comes out? Yes, of course. That's what makes it so good. To watch any new movie that comes out, you have to have seen all of like the previous movies that came out before it, or else you're going to be really confused, because any of the new movies that we release can mention and reference and have plot points brought up from any other movie that does exist. You're going to have to watch all the movies, which means there's going to be a lot more movie sales, meaning we've just revitalized the movie industry. It's just simple business stuff. You know, someone wants to see one movie. Let's say, you know, the next Despicable Me movie that's coming out. Oh, well, before they see that, they got to see The Godfather Part 2. Simple. We get so many more tickets this way. We get so many more sales, so many more people visiting Movies Plus, and then I make more money. And I know you're probably thinking, hey, Philip, you know, if you were able to buy the rights to all the movies, you must be pretty rich, right? No, I'm not. I had to buy every single movie. Do you know how much debt I'm in right now? Billions! Movies Plus is successful, don't get me wrong, I'm making a lot of money, but do you realize how much all movies cost? Too much money. Like, I thought, like, it'll be good for Movies Plus, I'm sure it can't be that expensive, but at that time, I had already committed. I couldn't back down. I already told the shareholders that I was gonna buy every movie ever. So when I, say I'm gonna do it, I have to buy them all. All of the 200 movies in the first phase of the M Plus CU need to be the highest grossing movie ever, or else I will have no house to live in except for DVDs of movies that I own. I have to eat copies of Shrek 2 for dinner. All of the money that I make is it's just going right back into paying for all the movies that I bought. Like, I'm doing nothing else with it. And not only do I have to pay for all of the movies that I bought the rights to, but I'm also spending a lot of money on all the movies that we're making. Like, it's so much money on all of them. Do you realize how much money and time has to go into making a crossover that has 2,500 different movies in it? So much work. There's so many actors that I need to pay money. And more than $1 per actor. It's too much. This might have been a bad idea, actually. I don't know. The universe that I have created is so complex and perfect that if you don't understand all of it, your mind will explode. There are a lot of movies coming out soon, and I'm really excited for all of them, but there's one in particular that I'm really excited for. And that, of course, is the Avengers meets the Addams Family meets Godzilla meets Dracula meets the Invisible Man meets the Three Stooges meets